Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
It's time for another daily dose of dismal Disney. We're going to talk about Snow White ending her fourth weekend at number 8. She got beaten by the King of Kings and totally pummeled by Minecraft.
Yes. So we're talking like, okay, a Disney movie, even a live action one, is fourth week. It's still going to have some kind of numbers. Not Snow White. She's not even in the top 5. She's barely in the top 10. She's down to number 8. I don't even think she did 3 million domestically this weekend.
Oh my God, that's sad because there's not a lot of competition out there. I mean, other than Minecraft.
Yeah, well, the King of Kings, a Bible show, like a Bible-based movie.
Right.
Beat her. It beat her second week total. It beat her third week total and her fourth week total.
Wow.
I mean, if you combine the second week and third week, it's about, I think it did about 20 million for Snow White, where King of Kings did like 17.6 million.
Yeah, that's,
I mean, it's not good.
That is pathetic. I mean, there somebody at Disney is going to pay for this one if they haven't already, because didn't they toss the guy who greenlit a lot of these live action remakes overboard?
Yeah, well, he was supposed to be like, oh, he was choosing to step down to go work on some of these as a producer. But, you know, he's going to go do his own thing. One of those type things where basically they got fired, but they're not going to let you, they're going to let you save face.
Yeah, they always do that because they want you to be able to go someplace else and ruin things for that company too. So we're going to talk about this. Minecraft is just, I mean, my God.
But it's number 1, obviously. We'll talk about numbers here in a minute. So let's do it. Before you get into it any further.
Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do. There you go. Not a lot of woohoos, I don't think, at Disney these days. That's
yeah, we'll talk about Minecraft is over 551 million globally at this point.
Wow.
So it's like it is kicking everybody's butt. But Snow White, not good. It did 2.8 million domestically. It was number 8 out of the top 10. It was beaten by a Bible-based movie, The King of Kings, which is 17.6 million. So King of Kings made more in its open weekend than Snow White made in its second weekend, guys. Snow flipping white.
Snow flipping white. So yeah, I told you God hates this movie. he's he tried to burn the set down. He's like, well, Bible movie's going to take her out then. Yeah, it's just like, I'm just astounded because usually Christian films are very niche and they're not like massive performers, right? I mean, every once in a while you get, Mel Gibson, or you get, Sound of Silence or something, Prince of Egypt, R.I.P. Val Kilmer. And you get something like that. But historically, they're kind of niche and they're not like huge moneymakers, but they beat Disney.
That's the point. I mean, we're talking Snow White, Disney's legacy IP, the movie that made Disney, it all, basically. Yes, made Walt Disney, the Walt Disney Company, what the Walt Disney Company is initially. And their live action version not only did crap its first week, by its second week, it only made 14.3 million, and this Bible movie did 17.6. If you combine the second and third week totals for Snow White, it made 20.2 million. That's less than 3 million. Or 3 million away from what King of Kings did in its opening weekend.
Yeah, and
Snow White.
This is a movie, the King of Kings with presumably not a very large budget, right?
Yeah, but you want to know what's funny? One of the voice actors in the King of Kings is Mark Hamill.
Oh, that's it. Oh, I think I heard about that. I thought that was very odd.
Interesting. Yeah, given how he behaves and some of the stuff he says, and Anyway, I thought that was weird. Right? I guess.
Because he's very, very, very anti-Trump, very anti-conservative, and he's doing a Bible movie. But
he's had some, that whole abortion issue and all that. Yeah. So.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Minecraft. Well, first of all, Snow White was in 4,200 theaters. Now it's only in 2,540 theaters in the U.S. And next week it'll probably be even less. I mean, yes, it's a 4-week. It's fourth weekend, so obviously it's going to drop. It was always meant to drop, but usually by now, a big IP like Snow White would still be making more than $2.8 billion or $1 million. Yeah, I wish it was billion. $2.8 million at the box office in this fourth weekend. It's like they should pull it because it's worse than the Marvels.
Yeah, so I had a friend write me the other night, and this is somebody who gives us some tips on what's going on at Tokyo Disney, and he was saying that it's pulled from the theaters already over in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody's watching this movie. They had to, I guess, the crane machines over there. They had a bunch of Snow White in the crane machines. Nobody played the crane machines because they didn't want the Snow White doll that was based on the movie, the live action movie.
Because they just don't want it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's not even good. It's nowhere near hitting 100 million domestically. It's like 80 some million. It's not going to hit 100 million. I think globally it's like 170 something million. It's not even going to hit 200 million globally. Okay.
I can't wait for people to be like, well, it's almost broke even, guys.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's almost breaking
if the budget
even.
was 270 million and they use that rule of thumb where you double it or 2.5, you're talking at least 500, like we'll say 540, 550 million at the low end. If you have a film that didn't even do $200 million, what does that mean for your losses? That is a massive amount of losses.
That's like we talked about yesterday with the streaming services and Disney. Like they only eked out like I wish I had $500 million, but they only eked out like a $500 million profit on Disney Plus. I'm like, that's going to be snapped away just by the last couple of misfires at the box office.
Well, what got me was it was only that much, and that was after only bringing they brought in $10 billion less than Netflix, as far as what they were bringing in total. But they're spending so much money that they only got the profit 500 and some million. It was like, that's not good.
Yeah. I mean, if it were any other business, it'd be like, why are you doing this? You're basically making yourself a bunch of work for very little returns. Yeah.
Speaking of profiting, Minecraft movie definitely. I think they had to make 300 million to break even. I think
it was 150. Yeah, 150 million.
About 300 million. It's already making profit. It is going to be about $551 million globally in its second weekend.
Oh my God.
I mean, I can tell you, I was looking at the movie theaters around us just to see, because I don't know, I might go get the kids at some point because they want to go again, but I was curious to see about the second weekend because we went early. So we avoided a lot of the insanity. And they were sold out. Like the theaters might have had one or two seats spread out the theater, but for the most part, they were sold out theaters.
Second weekend. And I think it's a lot of kids, a lot of teenagers going, and they were going in groups, which is what we used to do back in the day. Like we would go, as groups of us would go to an event movie like Batman or Ninja Turtles or something like that. And Minecraft is that for them.
Mm-hmm. So they said that they are going to hit 550.6 million worldwide. And of that, almost 270 million is from overseas markets. Interestingly enough, even though we're at that issue with China about not bringing the movies over there, China is like one of the biggest markets for it. They said down here, UK was 39.8 million. China's 20.3 million, which still, relatively speaking, is not great because China's huge and they only have that much. Right. But Germany's 18.9 million. Mexico's next with 18.7 million. And Australia was 18.5 million. IMAX is 26.6 million globally.
Well, it makes sense though, because China, I mean, video games are huge in China, and this movie was apolitical. So
right, that's what people keep saying about it, and it's like that's why they like it. It was just dumb fun, and it was it a good movie as far as like the story? No, it really wasn't. But was it one that people are gonna love and they're gonna find reasons to like it? If you liked Minecraft, if you played Minecraft, if you have kids that played Minecraft, if you guys watched the old YouTube videos back in the day, it's kind of riffing off a lot of that stuff. You'd like this movie. There's something in it you're gonna enjoy and you're gonna have fun. It might not be like a good movie as far as the story is concerned, but if you measure a movie being good by if you have fun and enjoy it, you'll probably like the Minecraft movie.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was a fun movie, and especially with kids, and in our case, I played Minecraft with the kids, so I got a lot of the references and some we can have a little chuckle about this or that or whatever, and I thought it was fun. But it is an event movie, and that's pretty much I think what theaters are going to be relegated to is going forward is people aren't going to go for any old movie, but they will go for an event. They'll go for a Barbie, they'll go for a Minecraft, something like that. But
this event movie was like way less expensive than Snow White,
and that's going to be. Again, that's going to be a huge takeaway because the studios are going to look at that and they're going to be like, yeah, how come we spent 150 million on Minecraft? It made a ton of money. We spent whatever we spent on Barbie and it made a ton of money. And then we go spend 200, 300, 400 million dollars on these live action remakes or Marvel movies or whatever, and they fall flat in their face.
Right. Like the Five Nights at Freddy movie had a very low budget, made
$25 million, I think.
The Joker, the original Joker, not Joker 2, it had a small budget and made an insane amount of money. It's just because they keep equating big budgets with success. And I think, especially with Marvel, was they were doing so many things half-assed, and then their stories being so terrible that they just thought they were just going to print money if you put a bunch of money into it. But
yeah,
some of the cheaper films that were creative and were fun and were just good movies that weren't political, and their effects were finished. Those kind of movies did better. I mean, Godzilla, they did so much better in a smaller budget. You're just like muddying the waters at this point. You're just overexpending money. You're just doing it to say you did it, and then people are misusing the money somehow because what they give you when they're done is shit.
Well, I think the last 10 years have been kind of the gilded age of movies where they just kept throwing more and more money at these movies, thinking that, like you said, more money equals more profit. And now we're finding out that's not the case. Because even look at movies, from the 80s that are perennial favorites, and a lot of them didn't cost a whole lot. E.T. didn't cost a whole lot to make. The original Star Wars didn't cost a whole lot to make.
No, and they spend so much money now, like on the Acolyte, and people are like, where'd the money go?
Yeah,
I was just like, it's like you have this big bottomless pit, and you keep throwing money into it, think it's going to fill it up, and you're going to make money, but someone's going to build a cheap ass bridge over it, and they're going to make more money than you are. Mm-hmm. It's not rocket science here. Just give people what they want, and give them. If you're doing an IP like Snow White, you give them a damn Snow White movie that looks like a Snow White movie. You don't make the dwarves nightmare fuel. It's really not that and you sure as hell don't have an actress who, one, doesn't look like Snow White, but two, has her mouth running constantly and chases away half your audience before the movie comes out. It's really not hard. Maybe if you dial back the activism bullshit and just did like good movies, and that doesn't mean you can't still be diverse. That doesn't mean you can't still have a message. You just have to do it in a way that's nuanced and in a way that is entertaining and that it looks like what people expect. It's not hard.
Actually, I was sitting there thinking, like, if you did a Snow White horror movie on a $20 million budget, it probably would have turned a profit.
They're doing one.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. And they'll probably turn a profit because it's,
They're making one. I think the dwarves are like hunting her or something. I don't know, but they're definitely making, there's a Snow White horror movie they're making, yes.
There we go. That's money in the bank.
They horror movie everything anymore, so.
Pretty much. There's like 2 or 3 freaking Popeye horror movies out now because Popeye is public domain.
I know. So this public domain, it's horror movie.
All
so
right.
There you go. Anyway, so there you have it. Snow White, 4th weekend, didn't even do $3 billion at the domestic box office.
$3 million.
$3 million. I keep doing that. $3 million at the domestic
It's Disney.
box
What they're
office.
doing is they're like sending out radio waves to be like, billion, say billion.
Yeah,
Get the shareholders all excited.
$3
say
million.
$3 million, billion, trillion dollars
at the box office. Number 8 out of 10. Beaten by a Bible movie.
Jesus.
And the Bible movie beat everybody else too. It's number 2. And Minecraft is number 1. So this goes to tell you that people are telling you what they want. They want movies that aren't woke, and they want movies that are funny, and they want movies about Jesus, apparently.
I'm sitting there thinking, I already know the title of this video. Snow White pummeled by Jesus in Minecraft. Jesus and the Chicken Jockey. Oh my God, that sounds like a 70s movie. That sounds like a road movie. Jesus. No, it'd be Jesus and the Chicken Jockey. And it's the sequel to Nacho Libre. Money in the Bank.
We were joking earlier, and Squid King was saying that we need you need Nick Fury to show up and say to Jesus that, the Avengers need you, and see what he does. And he's like, he has a gunship like a cross. He's like, hey, everything's going to hell. And what'd you say? Jesus is like, yes, I know.
The world's going to hell, and only one person can stop it. So there we go.
To get a message across in a nuanced way. There's only one person that can stop hell, and that's Jesus.
Oh, that's gonna be like I don't know if they ever went through it there or not, but remember IDW was gonna do Bible stories for a modern audience.
Oh my gosh, did they do it?
I don't know if they did, and they were gonna have like Heather Antos be the editor, and she's like an out Satanist or something. I'm like, what are you doing?
That's like Mark Hamill being a voice in this movie. Wow. You have to look and see they did it. I just remember you once upon a time did a Bible book, Mecha Manga Bible Hero.
Oh my God, yes. That was not one of my prouder moments. That was when you were doing
your Christian Bible or Christian comics phase.
Yeah, the Christian comics phase. Yeah, that whole thing that you want to talk about a backbiting scene. That was a very praise the Lord. So many backbiters in that scene. That was nuts. Anyway,
okay.
I think we need to wrap it up.
We really took detours here. Anyway, yes.
We did. And you're worried we couldn't get 10 minutes out of this video.
Yeah. So here we are. All right.
Please subscribe. We'll talk later.
Bye.